Leave it alone. Sometimes that's the way it is. Sorry to bring people down on Valentine's Day, but this is what I was feeling this Valentine's Day, right? Because you know what? If you've been with somebody and they did some they did some dastardly-ish, well, this is the song they getting this Valentine's Day. Like, what you did? You think I'm going to forget what you did? Oh, I love you, but you got to go. Done. Ain't nobody got time for that. And I don't know if anyone follows my personal life story, because I share a little of it, not a lot, but a little. And this past week, I don't know why, but in the beginning of February, it's like I got this fire up my butt. Like I had to get a hold of my, hopefully, the guy I married who ghosted me. And I had to get word to him about like, let's do this. Let's get this divorce thing done. Let's get this done. And I had attempted to reach him by email, couldn't do it. Had attempted to find him on Facebook, couldn't do it. And I talked to his brother and couldn't get through that way. And I thought this guy who was a mutual friend of ours knew him and knew me. And I just asked him, I'm like, could you pass this? I actually gave him a link to the video. Like, could you please make sure my husband sees this? Now, the funny thing is, men respond to men. So he responded. And he even emailed me. And apparently he's sticking with the story that he couldn't print the divorce papers. So I'm going to make sure I mail the divorce papers, and this person should get those divorce papers probably, within the next few weeks. And hopefully it'll, like I said, there's no contest, right? You don't want me, I don't want you. I don't want anything out of you. You don't want anything out of me. I haven't talked to you for over a year and a half almost. There's nothing there. I'm abandoned. I'm going to cite abandonment, or just no contest. Either way, there's no reason to hold on to it. There's nothing there. So I'm proud of myself because I was able to break through whatever that was, and break through the barriers that was there, and actually reach out to this person and have an almost civil conversation. I did get a little upset at the person because he had said, oh, I thought it's what she wanted. In other words, he's insinuating that it was my idea. Just for the record, anyone who knows me who thinks that I initiated this, hell to the no. That was not my choice. I'm not going to sit here and, play this whatever this is. This is the problem. Like, how can you forget how it all happened? I actually kept I have the actual record of it in case I have to go to court. Every word. Anyway, so let's see why these issues have been playing out for me, and how some of these issues might be playing out for you, especially now around Valentine's Day, okay? So the sun is at 23 degrees of Aquarius, and I'm not exactly sure where Aquarius falls in your chart, but for me, when the full moon was in Leo just a day or two ago and opposing the sun in Aquarius, I think it was like 2 days ago, the 9th and the 10th. During that time, man, it was that was the time when I actually managed to get through. It's almost like it was planned or ordained that we would be able to have an amicable conversation during that time, at least via text or email. And the thing about the sun in Aquarius is it's very creative. And I think you might have found some very creative ways, people of all signs, I think over the last couple of weeks, to get things done, because it's a very creative time. The moon today is in Libra, and it's no reason I decided to come and share my relationship issue and have this Valentine's Day, Wednesday Night Live, because when the moon is in Libra, we are talking about relationships. Libra rules relationships of all kinds. And in fact, Libra rules the 7th house, which is the house of marriage and partnerships. So I didn't even know this when I started running off at the mouth. I just started doing it because it's such a natural inclination. And I think a lot of people out there might be having that same inclination to talk about relationships, what went right, what went wrong, where we can repair them. You might even be dealing with your partner directly, having those heart-to-heart conversations. I would say over the next, like, say, 8 hours, you guys could maybe patch some things out. I'm not kidding, because, okay, so here's what's happening. The sun is at 23 degrees of Aquarius, right? Well, the moon's at 16 degrees of Libra. They're not exactly conjunct yet. I mean, some people will give that a Y conjunction already, because I always give a 10-degree orb for the luminaries. So, you know, we're technically already in a, not a conjunction, but like a trine. They're making that trine formation, and that's so positive. It's so harmonious that, you know, it's air. It's air. So, like, this is like harmonious air. In other words, love is in the air. Every time I look around, love is in the air. Every sight and every sound. Ba ba da ba ba ba. And I don't know if I'm being foolish, and I don't know if I'm being wise. And there's something I don't know. Does anyone remember that old song? Anyway, you guys, love is in the air. Love is in the air, and it's going to be in the air for at least the next 10 hours that I can see for sure. So, you know, if you got those little Valentine's dates coming in. Someone here got a huge bouquet of flowers today. I just happened to be here when the Federal Express guy came. I was a little sad they weren't my flowers, but hey, I was happy that someone got them. It was beautiful. Anyway, that is what's going on, you guys. So enjoy it for the next day. We got love in the air. And Mercury is at 11 degrees of Pisces. So it's a very creative, almost spiritual time. You know, like the thought. Oh my gosh. Let me make sure you can still see me. Sorry, my hand hit this. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. I got into it there. Like, wait a minute. I'm just looking at this. I need a new table. Did you guys hear me say that? I need a new table. This table is so shaky. Oh, I used to love this table. It's going to be sad to get rid of it. Okay, let's go back to this. So Mercury is at 11 degrees of Pisces. And it's a very ephemeral place for Mercury to be. That means some of us might not even be thinking clearly. You know, some of you guys might be listening to me like, this woman, she is living in her own little fantasy world. And that's okay. Because I'm a Barbie girl living in a fantasy world. I get all the songs. And some of you guys might be going through this too. Like, I remember when my mother was alive. First of all, I love my mom, okay? But when my mom was alive, and by the way, my mother had her moon in Aquarius, so maybe this is why I'm thinking about her, but she would go into these moments of crazy rhymes, like everything rhymed. I mean, she could go for days, not like, if you ever heard someone rhyme every single thing for 2 or 3 days in a row, it will freak you out. And even sometimes she couldn't stop herself. It was like a episode of Bewitched or something. It was hilarious. My mom was funny. Okay, so she was a Leo with an Aquarius moon, if you can imagine such a thing. And so I think, and she had Virgo rising, so she had Pisces in the 7th house. And I think she had something in Pisces there. So the funny thing is, when Mercury is in Pisces, there's a lot of that going on. Like the, I wouldn't say rhyming, but just like creativity, breaking out into song. People might even, you might catch someone dancing down the street in the rain or something stupid, because it's very creative and it's very like romanticized, and people are thinking this way right now. Their mindset is very Piscean. Now, the other thing is they could be thinking very spiritual, or just very pure. I think a lot of like that Mercury thought process in Pisces is very pure, very pure. It's like believing the best in things, hoping for the best in things. praying, literally praying for the best and things. Prayer is a very Mercury and Pisces word, prayer, a lot of prayer. I bet there are a lot of people in prayer even now for whatever reasons. I just sense it. Anyway, that's Mercury in Pisces. It's a very spiritual place for Mercury to be and for it to think and just comprehend things through them, like through the veil of spirituality or romance. It's a good time for Venus or Mercury, or for Valentine's Day for Mercury to be in Pisces. And Venus is in Aries right now. The one thing about Venus in Aries, and I just have to say it, I have to get it off my chest. Venus in Aries is out for the conquest. That is really what it's about. And someone might pursue you during this time, like you are the end all to their everything. And once they get you, they're going to tire of you when it gets into Taurus season. People, please be aware of this. You might get in a relationship that's only good for a season, okay? And Taurus season will be upon us. So just be aware of that you know, Venus does that when it's in Aries. It just wants to prove itself. Like, I bet I can get that. And it will go and proceed to go get that. But once you got it, you don't know what to do with it. I always want to say that's what happened with my marriage. Sometimes that's what happens. So be aware of it. It can affect a lot of people because it's overall. So, you know, if someone comes at you and they're a little over aggressive, you know, look at them with one eye open, you know, just be aware of what's going on. And I would even say I would wait until Taurus season. I would give them like a month or so before I would even proceed. I'm serious. Drive them crazy. And if they're not serious, they'll go on to the next because they're just after the conquest. Just saying. Mars is in Sagittarius, and that is about to go into Capricorn very, very soon. And it's good. You're going to feel that change when Mars goes into Capricorn versus it in Sagittarius. I think right now people are really having fun. And this is a really fun time. The Sun and Mars are technically sextile each other. And so, I mean, enjoy it. It's like a good time to dance, party, and have a good time, especially on Valentine's Day. So I hope you do that. But soon Mars is going to go into Capricorn. And when it does, it's going to get a lot more serious. Just be aware of it. Enjoy the fun while you can. Enjoy Valentine's Day this week. And because next week is going to be a different week, okay? All right, so Jupiter is at 16 degrees of Capricorn. And I just realized that Jupiter and the moon at this very moment are square. And since that's sitting on my sun and my ascendant, some of you guys might be like, girl is back in our damn faces again. Say we're tired of seeing that. Scroll on by that child's face. So I might be getting some of that tonight, but you know what? I don't care. Because you know what hasn't stopped me is that I'll be back again next week to mess with you again and put my face in your face. That's what I do. Next. Anyway, Jupiter is like that. And I do have it on my ascendant. So I can see where maybe my overabundance, there could be overabundance of all kinds of things going on, and I don't even know what it is. I might just be too much. Too much of what? Too much what? Just too much. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm going to be too much. I'm going to be me, right? So if Jupiter is making, you know, it's happy, right? It's positive. It's uplifting. It's fun. It's, you know, so go with that. I'm going to say this. There was, and I'm not a good Bible quoter. Lord, do not get me trying to quote the Bible, okay? But there is just one that I remember. It's like whatever is pure and good and uplifting or something like that. I remember I was going through, like whatever is good and positive or something like that. But I'm not a really good scripture quoter, okay? But I was going through a really bad time and I just opened up the Bible and it went right there. And I was like, or was it the Book of Mormon? It was one of them. I was like, oh, it's like whatever is good measure, good kind or whatever. And anyway, it made me realize that, yes, what I do, even if I don't always get back instant rewards for doing it, is what I'm supposed to do. It makes my heart feel good to do something good, to help other people, even in the slightest way, to get out of my own bubble, my own shell, my own world, and for just a few hours a week, reach out to other people and get into their world and maybe even help them or give them solutions that they might not have had if it weren't for me. And that gives me the desire to come back and do it again and again and again. Even if there's only one person I get to help that week, that's all it takes for me to keep going, because I know that by doing what I do, that I'm touching another soul and maybe uplifting that soul and maybe getting that person to the place they need to be so that they feel like they're, on solid ground, or they feel stable. And stable is a really good word for Capricorn in general. But I think for like anyone that's got their sun or ascendant or anything around, say, 16 to 26 degrees of Capricorn, like, I think you're learning like the true meaning of stability in life, and you might even be a stabilizing force in the lives of other people. Like, people count on you. You're like a pillar that doesn't go away. Like, I come back week after week because I realize that some people will be like, if I'm not here, they'll be like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? I was waiting for you. Like, and so you realize that even though you don't think people even pay attention or notice you, that you've become kind of like this stable pillar that people lean on for comfort, or to get shelter from the shade or whatever. And so I understand that, and I come back, and I'm glad to be that pillar that people can lean on. So we've got Jupiter at 16 degrees of Capricorn. We've got Saturn at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So that's why I gave that 10-degree orb, between 16 and 26, because there's a lot going on in Capricorn in between there. And so some people are really affected. The funny thing between that 10 degrees is that Jupiter is super, super happy, positive, uplifting, motivating, even spiritual sometimes. They're really gregarious. Jupiter's a happy planet. And then comes Saturn, 10 degrees later. It's heavy, it's foreboding. It can weigh you down. It can stop you in your tracks. It can scare the heck out of you. It is a malefic planet. Let us not fool ourselves. Saturn is nothing nice. So it can be a little daunting for some people if they're like right smack in the middle of that, and suddenly, they got some planets, say like around 20 degrees or 21 degrees, or, right in the middle of that. And they can feel both of these. It's like that seesaw thing going on, where you might have like the confidence and desire to get out there and do it. And suddenly Saturn's like, sit your behind down. You haven't done the proper planning yet? I'm sorry. But Saturn is like that heavy father voice, like telling you where you screwed up or where you have to fix it. So there might be that go, stop, go, stop, go. Fear, right? And in between of these two things is Pluto at 23 degrees, saying, yeah, change, make that change. Let's regenerate everything. We're transforming it all. No, I don't like the way it is right now. It can be better. We can rebuild him. We've got the tools and the technology. I'm sorry. See, this is what happens when Pluto is in between Jupiter and Saturn. You turn to someone like me. Anyway, this is a major thing, and I think a lot of people are feeling it wherever this is falling in their charts. They're feeling that go, pull, I'm changing. So, I mean, look at where like 10 degrees to 26 degrees of Capricorn is in your chart, because that's where all of this is going on. It's like a whirlpool. It's like a swirl. It's a tiny tornado building. Let's not forget Mars is going into Capricorn next week. And it moves a lot faster than any of these three planets. It will overtake each and every one of them. And when it does, chaos most likely will ensue, as Mars is a malefic planet. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, and I don't want to get you guys too confused. Let's move on to the next planet, okay, which is Uranus. Uranus is at 3 degrees of Taurus. And actually, I really don't think anything truly is affecting Uranus right now. Now, the node is at 7 degrees of Cancer, and it is going backwards. And so it is technically within a sextile of Uranus. So what would that mean when only connection to it would be the node? Again, it's change, isn't it? I think Uranus in Taurus overall is let's shake the foundation. Let's break the traditions. And there it is.